Alright guys, we are back. Just finished a sauna session and ice plunge, ice bath. What are going to say? Shit weather today. And yeah, the reason why I want to record this video, had a few ideas as I was recording this video, but main thing I want to go over is sacrifice. And basically sacrificing to achieve your goals, okay? And just knowing what to sacrifice and when to sacrifice, and that's gonna fall. Guys, we have to improvise in the car here. But just knowing what to sacrifice and when you have to sacrifice. And I'll give you guys a few examples. As I discussed in one of my last videos, one thing that I didn't want to sacrifice to achieve my goals was Instagram. So again, I used to love, when I finished work, I used to love going on Instagram. But what I eventually realized was, it did not help me achieve my goal one single bit. Okay. For me personally, I think that it's a platform designed to show off, if I'm being completely honest. And again, I'm guilty of that. I've done a few things as well. But again, it just sparks unnecessary emotion that you don't need, that will bleed into your decisions that you make in the business. So that was one thing, the example of something that I did not want to sacrifice, and I was dreading upon it for like weeks. But again, something flipped inside me and I just made that decision. Okay. And another thing I want to say is normally the bigger the sacrifice, the more loneliness. Okay. So I'll give you an example. The biggest example that people say is stop drinking and stop, going to clubs, and stop drinking, stop going to clubs, and stop partying. Okay. Now, the result of those sacrifices is that it leads to more loneliness. Okay. And you have to be able to be confident being alone. You have to be able to withstand being alone for a prolonged period of time. That to me is loneliness and sacrifice is the price of your goals. So anything you can imagine right now, it's going to come from loneliness and sacrifice. Some of the sacrifices I've made, guys, I don't drink. Well, again, I probably drink once a year. I'm not going to say I did 2 years straight without drinking alcohol. But again, I drank on New Year's just to celebrate the end of the year. But 99% of the time, I don't drink. I don't do any drugs. I don't really party. I don't go out. I've got 3 or 4 close friends. And I'm in bed at 7 p.m. I'm off my phone at 7 p.m. I eat clean food. I fast in the morning for the first 4 hours of the day. All of my, I don't go on Instagram anymore. Don't have Snapchat. I've been doing this for, the Instagram I just started recently, but all these habits I've been building for years. And yeah, it's the reason why I'm saying this is because if you're in that situation now where you're starting to make a few sacrifices, just realize that it's going to be lonely, and it's completely normal to be on that lonely chapter. Okay. Everyone talks about being that lonely chapter, having that sacrifice. That sacrifice takes years. It's not a couple of days. It's not a couple of weeks. It's not a couple of months. It's years of sacrifice. And maybe I know it's going to be worth it in the end. I already have seen some of the results so far. But if you're just starting out, just realize, loneliness and sacrifice is the price of your goals. And depending on how big your goal is depending on how big the sacrifice is. So if you're going to go and, you want to build a company worth, okay, my goal is to get to $1 million a month at the moment. To achieve that goal, I've got to give up and sacrifice a lot of things. Okay. So if you want to make 10K a month, you probably don't have to sacrifice too much. Okay. You can, work a couple hours a day, and eventually you will get there. But if you're going to have these massive goals, you have to sacrifice a lot more, and it's normally the things you don't want to sacrifice. So a lesson I was told was, think of 5 things right now. Pause this video, get a pen and paper, and write 5 things right now that you don't want to sacrifice. So pause this video, please guys, do it. Put on your notes on your phone if you haven't got a paper near you. Don't make these excuses. I haven't got paper, I'm not going to bother. 5 things that you could sacrifice to achieve your goals. Okay. Now, I'm hoping you've done that. After those 5, you came back, you looked at your 5. Now, there's one of those things on there that you didn't mention. There's one more sacrifice that you didn't mention. Okay. That's what you have to sacrifice. Okay. That one thing that you didn't put down because you said, oh no, I need it because of X, Y, Z. That's the thing you have to sacrifice to achieve your goals. When I did that, for me, personally, it was Instagram. I did not want to deactivate my Instagram account, and I did it. Okay, and again, that's something that I wanted to just do, and for me, it's been the best decision so far. It's been a couple of days. You know, none of this information's in my head of like all this social media shit, which is good. Now again, that's again an example of more loneliness now. You know, you're not talking to many people, and that's just an example. Now I probably will end up not getting Instagram back soon, but like in a year time or two, when I start to build up my personal brand more on that Instagram page, that's when I'll activate it again. But for now, I don't need it, and it's a waste of time, and it's not gonna help me achieve my goals. So that's another example. And yeah, guys, like sacrifice. If you have these big ambitious goals, sacrifice as much as you can. Like I've listed out some of my sacrifices. I used to have a big friend group, gone down to like 3 or 4 people. Like it's you have to be comfortable being by yourself for prolonged periods of time. I'm not speaking like one day. I'm not speaking like 1 week. I'm not even speaking like months. I'm speaking years. Like I've spent years, guys, 2 to 3 years right now in an isolated period. And its reason being is because, you know, I have these big goals, and I feel like I would rather go through this for 10 more years than be an average person. That's just me personally. That's just something that I think that has been programmed me into a young age. I would never, like, I'm scared of being average. And you know, if you guys are watching this, you guys are probably the same thing here. So the one thing I want you guys to take away from this video is, you know, if you are ambitious, sacrifice as much as possible. Sacrifice as much as you can, and you will achieve your goals. If you make these sacrifices, I can almost guarantee that you will achieve all these goals that you have. All right, that's it for today, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.